In this video, I'm going to do a collagraph which will combine a viscosity printing technique with wiping, as well as perhaps trying to introduce a fourth colour. Hope you enjoy it. So the plan is to create my image on a collagraph, and I'm going to do a lot of peeling off. Firstly, I'm going to, because I really love the contrast in this image of having this birch contrast of black and white on the bark, as well as having these really deep dark colours in the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm working on shiny and Vero board, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off these huge sections here, and I'm going to peel off the whole bark section and all the branches, and then I'm going to get some polyfiller and some glue to make all the light bits stick right out. So when I do my viscosity rollover, they will get picked up. And then before I do the actual print, I'm going to apply a cotton bud and wipe off even more to get those white bits here. I would really love to get this very intense green. It's going to be super hard in collagraph because the inks get to mix with each other, and since I'm not doing separate plates, this is going to be really hard. So my plan is, and I'm hoping it's going to work out, is I'm going to get these green bits really raised up. So I'm going to apply a lot of polyfiller. So I might get quite sculpty almost. So I'm going to do, I'm going to use my new tool to do a bit of polishing of those areas, because I want them to get picked up by a hard roller with a more soupy ink, and I want them to be really prominent. And if they're going to get covered up by my softer roller with the blue ink, what I'm going to have a go at is perhaps trying to use the fourth colour. I've seen on in a book somewhere about calligraphy that you can introduce a fourth colour by inking up a perspex plate with the colour you want and actually just sticking it on top of your collagraph and seeing if some of the colour transfers. So I'm going to give that a go and see if that works, because if it does, I'd be really excited, and it could open up some interesting possibilities to get some even more interesting texture and 3D feel into my prints. Hope you enjoy the video. So as you can see, you can score even deeper into the cardboard and create another almost dimension. So you can peel off lighter, or you can peel off even deeper. And now it's time to add a bit of polyfiller mixed with wood glue. I normally mix 50-50. I feel that works the best. I have waited patiently for my plate to dry, so it's buckled a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem, hopefully. There's some bits sticking right out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wonderful polishing tool with lots of different gadgets here, and what I'm going to do is smooth it out a little bit and maybe create some more interesting effects by just drilling in, and maybe I might do a little bit of grass here, and I want this to look like leaves, so I might just punch some holes and polish some bits out, just have a little play with it, and see if I can get some more interesting effects. Right, okay, so I think I am finally ready to shellac my plate, seal it, and I'm hoping that, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink up the whole plate firstly with raw umber, which is a very dark ink colour, and then I'm going to wipe it off, and the ink is going to get trapped in all the lower parts, in all the grooves. I'm going to then wipe off the surfaces, and then I'm going to ink up with a diluted version of green ink and hard roller. So I'm hoping that's going to cover all the raised bits, all my leaves and grass, and then I'm going to apply a soft roller with a normal viscosity blue ink. Okay, so I'm now ready to ink up with my raw umber, which will then be wiped off. So I want the raw umber to get stuck in all the deepest parts of the plate. So as you can see, I'm wiping the ink off, and I'm wiping it off with a really stiff scrim, and I'm doing it quite harshly because I know that the raised bits is the bits that I want to be cleaned up, and the bits that are engraved, I want them to stay dark. I'm also being quite harsh with the all these bits here because I want the blue. Actually, I don't really even know if it's going to work out. I want the blue to show through. I don't want the dark ink to show through. It might be quite tricky. We'll see how well the blue ink sticks into these areas. So yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do now. Whatever it will work out, that's another thing, but I'm hoping, because it's something interesting happening here. I quite like the trunks of the trees, how they came up, and all of this. It could look really, really interesting in a viscosity print. Could be quite dark, but we'll have a go. Maybe if the viscosity print doesn't work out, I'll just have a normal à la papier print and see how that pans out. But I would be really interested to see how this is going to work. My only concern is obviously these areas here, because they seem to be trapping a lot of ink and looking quite dark, and I want them to be blue. So we shall have to see. All right, so my plate is now ready. Hopefully it's not too dark to spoil any other colors I'm going to introduce. So I'm going to now, because I don't like green out of the tube, I'm going to make my own green by mixing Indian yellow with sepia, which will give me nice olivey green that I'm looking for. And then I'm going to add a bit of oil to it, linseed oil, to make it a little bit more runny. And that will go on, hopefully, with a hard roller, stick only to the raised areas of my leaves and all my greenery. Okay, so this is the exciting bit. Now I'm going to put my lovely yellow viscous ink onto the plate. Very gently. I'm not putting any pressure on it. Okay, I've ended up with a little bit of unwanted green, but it doesn't bother me too much because that's the beauty of viscosity printing. You can get some very unusual things happening, which can be happy accidents, and I love that. Okay, I'm now ready for my blue, so I'm going to spread it out with my softer roller and put a lot more pressure on when I roll it out. Right, so now I've got my sticky blue ink, and I'm going to roll it over my plate, applying a little bit more pressure with a softer roller. And hopefully the green ink will repel the blue ink, and it is. It really is. Cool. Love it. So my intention probably wasn't to make the plate so blue, but I think it looks quite interesting, and I'd like to see what happens. I'm going to just maybe get rid of some of the blue inside the trunk of the trees. But I don't know, I kind of like it. Just hope it doesn't splodge too much, because there's a lot of ink on that plate. I have put on a lot more ink than I normally do, because I was quite keen on covering those really dark areas there. But yeah, let's see how it prints, I guess. Proof will be interesting. Right, so my proof is very interesting, but there's a few buts. I do need to make some improvements. So I should have really wiped off here because I love that white bark. It looks amazing. So in my second print, I'm going to make sure I get rid of some of that white, blue ink as much as I can. And also I'd like to see a bit more variety in this blue background. So I'm going to wipe off a bit of blue after I ink up, just to get sort of more darker tone perhaps here. But I like what's going on with this yellow and this yellow here. It's very interesting. I love the leaves. They are fab. Not sure about this bit here. It's just a little bit too blocky, I guess. But all in all, quite pleased actually. So I've decided to give it another go and do another print, and as you can see, I'm applying a little bit less raw amber ink. I'm just pushing it down into the trees and branches this time, so I've got less wiping to do. All right, ready for my second print. Let's apply the yellow first. I'm going to press a little bit harder this time because I want a little bit more green. So let's see how that works out. Okay. My blue roller is, I haven't washed it, so it's going to have a little bit of green in it, but that's all right. I don't mind that. Okay. Let's see how that works out. Right, I like how, because I pressed a little bit harder with my hard roller, I got a bit more variety this time, which is what I wanted. But I'm going to make some small adjustments to get even more variety to this, so let's have a look. Although I mentioned I might use a fourth colour, I don't think I will now. I think I'm quite happy with how it's panning out. And now for the exciting part, the big reveal. Well, I have to say, I do really like what's happened here, and I think by doing a bit more after my print of Hearst proof, I was able to achieve a more interesting effect and a bit more texture. Thank you for watching.